Morning, Gary Champion, psychic medium, sort of, too much line. And that's a good example of what I'm going to talk about this morning. Again, I was sitting here meditating and I heard sometimes you push too hard. And when I first started putting videos up a couple of years ago, there was a guy that kept sending me emails saying, well, the voice thing, it needs to be modulated. You need to mix it. You need all these things. And the video's a little washed out. And giving me technical advice. And it just occurred to me as I was doing this that's a great intro to the video. What happens when you push too hard? I'm not a professional cameraman. Matter of fact, I don't even care about the camera. I don't care about the voice, the microphone. This is an old computer. It does fine. You can understand me. If you're looking for perfection here in production, you came to the wrong place. It's not relevant to what I'm doing. And I will bet you a shiny new nickel that the guy that he doesn't do it anymore because I dropped my website, my YouTube channel several times and brought it back, and so he's lost somewhere. But I bet he's unhappy because nothing is ever good enough. He spends his whole day criticizing that which he sees, and I don't to get me wrong, I don't mind him criticizing that the vocal recording is not very good and the picture is kind of washed out, and I don't have any production cameras here. This is my office. I work from out here and it's good enough for me. What bothers me is that it's not good enough for him. Not that his criticisms matter, because they don't in my life. I don't do self-criticism. I stopped doing that years ago. But people who push too hard are often so self-critical that there's no fun in life. And oh, I love it. And you know what? Of course, I hear voices, so I'm telling you what I'm hearing. Someone saying attaining what he wants in life is impossible. People aren't perfect. Situations aren't perfect. Even though something may appear to be perfect, I wish I had an example. Oh, this little MP3 player with the noise canceling headphones that my wife had a great idea and purchased for me. They're not noise canceling. You can hear stuff. And the player, it's great, but it doesn't have a shuffle. So every morning you have to listen to the same 10 songs before you turn it off, unless you want to click ahead for 10 minutes and get up to something you haven't heard before. It runs in a linear way. My life is not linear. My life is scattered, and I like randomness. I don't look for perfection, but I enjoy randomness. It's not required, but it's always pleasant. My wife and I were going dancing last week, and we arrived, and there were just too many people. They had some kind of a club thing. Some group, factory group or something, had hired the place, and there were going to be 300 or 400 people there. And believe me, that's too many people in that place. So we were going to get stomped on when we were trying to dance. And we don't dance that great, so we need a little bit of space. So we just turned around and came home. Disappointment? Oh, for about, I don't know, less than a minute, because we had we had eaten out and done other things, so just one part of the night. But if there had been nothing but that and it hadn't turned out well, we'd have been fine, because we just moved the conversation to something else. Life is about random activities that sometimes turn out good and sometimes they don't. You can't stop it. If you think you can control it, you're in for a life of pain. Because life is random and patterns reemerge in a way that's helpful and not helpful. If you're unhappy and self-critical and criticize everything and nothing's perfect enough and you're pushing too hard, you're going to repeat the same thing. You don't like people like you. That's who you're attracting. Pushy, kind of assholey people. I don't think that's a real word. You can look it up, assholey. I don't think it's real. But you're not attracting quiet, introspective, thinking people. You're attracting angry, aggressive, assholey people, just like you. And pretty soon you're in a room full of people just like you, and that usually doesn't turn out too well. Because there's a fight for the dominance of the assholey world. Can I use that word too many times? Can I say assholey maybe 2 or 3 more times? I think maybe I've worn that word out. But since it's not a word, it's okay. Assholey, assholey, asshole. So pushing too hard has the effect of ruining your life and those around you. And here's the fun part. When you get to be about 50 or 60, you look at your kids and they're assholey too. Ooh. And you sit around and say, I wonder where they got that from. And your wife maybe says, well, his friends are assholeys. You go, okay. Well, now I understand it. It's their fault. I didn't do this to them. You got to justify screwing their lives up. And some of these assholey children will go out in the world and realize that the world is random, and to take umbrage to some things and find meaning in things that have no meaning, it just will drive you nuts. You're never going to be happy by pushing too hard. And they'll self-correct and say, okay, well, I got to stop doing this. This is maddening. I'm just doing this. I'm going round and round and round. And I live for so many years and I pass, and what did I do? A lot of assholey things affecting everybody around you in a terrible way. Stop the cycle. Stop and think. Is this maybe, am I pushing too hard? Could I be happy with something like this? It's nice, but it's really flawed. Well, I've learned to just click forward 20 or 30 clicks. I sit here for 7 or 8 minutes every morning until I get to a new section and go, okay, I'm happy. Adjusting something that isn't usable to something that is doesn't require any angst or anger. Or I think I mentioned to it my wife once. She said, oh, that's not good. Instead of, we'll send that back. We'll do this. We'll do that. No, it's perfectly okay. Just something to listen to sometimes. And I do work that sometimes requires that I don't hear anything. Of course, that doesn't happen either because you can hear through them. It's nothing noise canceling. I love that. It knocks most of it out, but it doesn't cancel noise. So at some point, it'd be nice if all of you assholey people would learn to adjust to the world that's random and aggravating, but it's not personal. The world's just random. Things happen. Adjust to it. The roof leaks, fix the roof. You know. Anyway, that's the video I was prompted to do this morning about maybe you're just pushing too hard. That when you expect perfectness, you're always going to be unhappy and dissatisfied. Understanding that perfectness doesn't exist in this world. I've never seen it. Maybe a flower. You look at a flower and say, well, that's perfect. But then you get out your magnifying glass and say, oh, that leaf isn't quite right. So perfectness doesn't exist. It's an imaginary thought process in your head. And why? Because you probably grew up around people who were assholey and demanded perfection. Or it's just something you picked up along the way because you like assholey people. They always seem to get a lot of stuff done, but at what cost? Life's not much fun that way. You're repeating yourself. Random world's much better. There's no repetition to it, very little. And the fun in life is randomness and adjusting to it as it comes. Not trying to twist the entire universe to fit some perfect picture in your head, but accepting the random imperfection of the world and living within it, being happy, if you can. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.